What's up, y'all? It's your girl Amanda, and we are back with another episode of Thompson and Stuff. So, I know y'all probably listening to the quality of this podcast different than last couple weeks ago podcast, right? Let me tell y'all what I did. So, if you guys remember like the earlier episodes of Thompson and Stuff, I had a mic, right? I was looking for that same mic. I know I still own it, but I can't find it. So y'all gotta remember, I got gas in my chest. I had a lot of Chinese food today, so forgive me. So rewinding back to last or 2 weeks ago's episode, I my white Apple headphones crapped out on me for recording. Now they still work because I can still like listen to music and stuff on it, but when somebody called me on my phone, I can't use them. So they crapped out on me to record, and then I was trying to find my mic, and I just like flat out gave up. I was on YouTube, just dilly dallying around YouTube, and I was watching like some of the creators. They were like doing their Twitch and streaming and stuff, and they had on headsets. So I'm sitting here wondering, it's like I'm not a gamer. I'm not really into gaming. I mean, I play video games, but I'm not like heavy gaming like they are. So I was like, I wonder if that will work for me. So I went to Walmart today, y'all, and I saw like different headsets and stuff. Most of them was like super expensive, and I'm like, I'm not serious into gaming like to buy a $200 like piece or whatever. So I just told the young lady to get like the cheapest headset ever, and I came home and I tested it out. It's pretty good. I like it. I feel like a gamer, but I'm not a gamer. And it's really cute because it's got like the LED like flashing lights. It changes colors and stuff. So I'm happy about that. So if you guys like the new quality of the sound, let me know. But yeah, we're back for another episode. Um, I'm just chilling, y'all. I'm just chilling. So I want to tell y'all, I tried Big B Coffee. So if you guys don't know who Big B Coffee is, it's another competitor for like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, right? And their colors are brown, black, and orange. So just so y'all know, it's very easily recognizable from the street. Um, what I liked about them is that they did have variety, but at the same time they didn't have variety. They do have like coffee drinks, like cold brew and all that stuff, and then they got your what's the word I'm looking for? Like your milkshakey ish type of drinks, like frappuccinos and stuff. They had that, and then they had like the energy drinks with Red Bull in it. I ended up having the peach freeze, I guess it's called, but no Red Bull, and it was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I like that, there's a lot of competition for these coffee shops. They're actually building a Dutch Bros like 15 minutes from me. I cannot wait for that to open because I really want to try Dutch Bros because that's what all the TikTok girlies do. Now, I'm not one of the TikTok girlies. I'm just, a spectator from the outside. But I really can't wait for them to try that. Another life update that I've been doing that I realize is decluttering. And I'm not talking about like in my house and stuff. I'll get to that one day. But right now is I guess what I'm doing virtually and stuff and trying not to extend myself. If you guys remember the last episode, I said I was going to work on something special for the podcast. Well, I decided I'm not going to do it because honestly it's just like the t-shirt store situation. I had my t-shirt store, I had two podcasts and my life outside of all that, and to me that's just like personally extending myself, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do a podcast of album reviews, like albums I like, albums I've already listened to, probably new albums, but it was just like I didn't want to add on to the stress of that. Also, I've noticed like my YouTube has totally like changed. Like my subscribers, like what not subscribe, what I my subscriptions of what I like to watch. I went from watching like a lot of drama filled channels to like more. I like to watch the people who do day in the lives. They're like normal people. They're not really celebrities, but they're normal people. And I like to watch, them. I'm getting into people who do fitness, healthy eating, and all that stuff. I thought I was doing subconsciously, but then I'm sitting back watching these people and I'm like, wow, I'm really like kind of growing up, aren't I? So I've been kind of like changing my YouTube videos and it makes me feel better. Like not watching all that sadness and drama. It's like more like, watching people live their lives in a positive way and they try to like give positive messages and stuff, which I really, really do enjoy that. And as you guys know, summer is officially, well, not officially, because summer's not officially here until June 21st, but summertime, springtime, Chicago is here. I was on Twitter, and I still call it Twitter, I don't care. I was on Twitter, and they said that this should be a money making summer. Now that I do agree with you. Yeah, go to work, make your money, pay your bills and stuff. But I also added on that, summer should be filled with food, friends, and fun. Food because it's grilling season. Honestly, it's so much fun when you grill outside. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun, especially if you have like your friends and family over. Hot dogs on a grill is better. Chicken on a grill is good. I don't know what steak. I mean, I don't know. I don't like steak, but y'all could say like steak is better on a grill. So and then people go out to and here in Chicago, we have them a lot, like on River North and stuff. The restaurants start to open up like, their outdoor patioism so you can eat outside and stuff. So that's happening. Sometimes there's like a lot of festivals. The Taste is back in July this summer, so I know it's gonna be packed. Because I saw like somebody did a walkthrough of the Taste of Chicago from last year when it was somewhere else, and it was during September. And like in September, like late September, that's when the weather slowly starts to change here. So it gets from like 90 to 80 degrees, probably 75 to at night, probably the late 60s. And that video of the Taste that I saw on YouTube was like, it looked crazy dead. Like, it looks so boring. It looks so dead. But now this summer, they're saying Babyface is gonna be at the Taste on Friday, June 11th, and I'm trying to go to that because listen, I grew up listening to Babyface. Starting from not even Whip Appeal, maybe when he was with the Deal, when Two Occasions. Do you know how many times I used to listen to Two Occasions as a kid? Seriously, come on. So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to go to the Taste. They're probably not gonna have like the same. Because mind you, I haven't been to the Taste since I was like a teenager, so probably like 14, 15, 16. And one of the things that I liked about the Taste is when Dominic's was a thing here in Chicago, they would have their own stand and you could get fruit, right? And you could get a slice of watermelon, a bag of cherries, and something else. I kind of forgot, but those two were like the main things. My mom would get the bag of cherries. I don't like cherries, so she get that, and sometimes I get the slice of watermelon or whatever. But I don't know how they're gonna do that this year because there's no Dominics unless they're gonna ask Mariano's to come and do something. And I wouldn't mind Mariano's coming to do something because Mariano's actually has really good fruit. I go to the one because there isn't one near me, but I go to the one when I go visit up north in Northbrook. That's a great Mariano's, and their bathrooms are clean, by the way. So that's my life update. So let's get into these stories. I don't have a lot of stories with me doing this every 2 week podcast situation. Less stories on paper, but I like it now. So I want to say rest in peace to two people, one place. I've never been on here to say rest in peace to a place, but rest in peace to Ford City Mall. If you guys are from Chicago, Ford City Mall is a mall on the south side. It's pretty close to the Midway Airport. It's like in that vicinity, like probably right down the street. It was a poppin' mall at one time. I mean, I've been to Ford City once during the pandemic, and people would say, "Oh, Ford City is ghetto," and blah 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 blah. Well, when I went, I didn't see nothing ghetto. They had like a H&M in there. They had Victoria's Secret. They had like all different types of stores. And y'all gotta keep in mind this was during the pandemic. And after the pandemic, certain things did not make it. For example, Ford City Mall. I would see videos of after the pandemic, and all those stores would be gone. It's a ghost town, and I'm like, what? What happened? That's insane. The pandemic. It's got to the best of us. So they decided it's gonna close down next month. I think on the 22nd. So I remember going in the H&M and shopping with a group of people I was hanging out with for that summer, and then we ate in the food court, and I guess the food was okay. It was nothing to run home about. So, but I think that was like my only time I've been to Ford City Mall because I don't live over there. And I remember I went to two high schools, and the other high school I went to, not the one I graduated from, they had like it was for volunteer hours because when you go to a Catholic school, right, you have to do like volunteer hours. And some of the girls in my class, they did volunteer work wrapping gifts at Ford City Mall for Christmas season. So that I think whoever did that, they probably have that memory as well. But it's sad, like our malls are. I mean, people say like, "Oh, the American malls are dying." I don't think all malls are dying. I think the malls that are in struggling areas, those are the ones to go. For example, Woodfield Mall in Schaumburg, that's not a dying mall. Lenox Square in Atlanta in Buckhead, that's not a dying mall. I bet the Beverly Center in Hollywood, that's not a dying mall either. So it's just the ones that are like in struggling areas that are dying off because the malls in those better areas and better malls, they have something to do with the revenue for the city. So I don't want to hear nobody else saying, "Oh, the mall is dying. The malls are dying." No, it's just the malls that are struggling that are dying, in my opinion. Rest in peace to Rob Bass. Rob Bass was a rapper. If you ever heard, "It takes two to make a thing go right. It takes two to make it out of sight." So rest in peace to him. That song is so popular still at weddings and dances and stuff. So I know he had cancer, but before he passed away, he probably lived like a good life because of that song, the popularity of it. He probably performed it live, probably up until he got sick. I don't know, but it's such a popular song. It has such like a stamp on hip hop. You can hear it anywhere. The kids will dance to it. I think probably commercials remixed it for the audience. Didn't a Pampers commercial or something like remixed it and made it their own for Huggies? I don't know, but it's a popular song. Hello, everybody knows it takes two. Ask your uncles, ask your father, and they'll start probably dancing and telling stories. So, rest in peace to Rob Bass, and also rest in peace to Kyle Busch. Now, I'm not a NASCAR person. I don't know nothing about NASCAR. All I know is Dale Earnhardt died from crashing his car into a wall, and then all they do is just drive around one big circle, and somebody wins eventually. Now, again, not a fan of NASCAR, but the way he died, rest in peace, Kyle Busch, the way he died just kind of disturbed me. They said he had issues with his sinuses. He went to the hospital, and then later he said he died. That I think that would disturb me, and it opened my eyes because I used to hate when people would say, "Oh, here today, gone tomorrow," and I just always thought that was like under the fear mongering umbrella, if you will. But with Kyle Busch dying, I learned that it's not fear mongering and it could really happen, and I shouldn't, be ignorant to something like that. Because everything was just so quick. Like, I opened TMZ and I just saw, oh, you know, Kyle Busch goes to the hospital. Okay, he goes to the hospital. People go to the hospital all the time. He'll be fine. And then, like, probably an hour or two later, he passed away. So, rest in peace to him. So I just want to move on to something a little lighter. I don't want to talk about death no more because it's just heavy. But I just wanted to get that out the way. Vibe magazine. The good news is that Vibe magazine is actually coming back to print. Why am I reporting this? And I make content in the digital world. Like, why do you care so much, Amanda? I guess that's what you're trying to ask me. I grew up, and you know what's crazy? I should also say this. I was in Myers the other day, right? And Myers, they still have their big variety of magazines. So I go over to the magazines. They got your planning magazine, fashion magazine, your car magazine, your home magazine. They got all the magazines, but they don't have a hip hop section like they used to. Like they used to have Double XL when Vibe was in print before. I don't know. I don't want to say Slam was a hip hop magazine, but there was hip hop components to it. The Source and all that stuff. I go there a couple of days ago in 2026. There's no hip hop magazines. So for this news to come out, it just kind of brought me a sigh of relief and maybe some nostalgia. Vibe magazine is coming back to print. Now, I'm happy that is coming back to print, but at the same time, I'm kind of nervous about what can come out in these new printed Vibe magazines. You got to remember, like probably 6 months ago or so, they laid off a lot of their writers because they actually, I think, merged with, who is that, Rolling Stone magazine. So I don't know what can be about in these new magazines. Maybe it'll take the BT being bought by Viacom turn, if y'all know what I mean. But I just know it's not going to be like the vintage Vibe magazines we used to read back in like 2000, 2001, 2002. Maybe as far back as like the 90s. Because if y'all remember, if you open like a Vibe magazine, if you open an Ebony magazine, you would see like black people in car ads. You would see cigarette ads. You see stuff like that, but now it's like what nobody really smokes cigarettes. Cars, you may or may not. You probably see like a Cadillac print ad or something. I don't know, but it's those things that were in those Vibe magazines back in the 90s and 2000s might not be in these new Vibe magazines in 2026, 2027. Like, you open an old Vibe magazine, and you know what? Speaking of old Vibe magazines, you could probably see this for yourself. I don't know if they still have it though, but I used to look at them when I was like in high school. That's when I discovered it. If you go to like Google Books on Google and you type in like Ebony, Jet, Vibe, probably Double XL or so, you look up those old hip hop magazines. There are like not screenshots, but like Xerox, I want to say, like Xerox versions of those magazines. So basically, somebody just, scan version of those magazines. So probably somebody took the old magazines and scanned them and uploaded them to the internet. I haven't really looked in years, but I don't know if they're available. But people used to do that, and it was on Google Books. And you would flip through like the old Vibe magazines and stuff. You'd see like, old Chevrolet advertisements, cool Camel advertisements, Reebok, hip hop brands. And then there was like a section in the magazine where you would see like these ads, like I don't know, call here if you want this, that, stuff like I never really paid attention, but there was always a page full of those. I bet money those aren't even going to be in those like the new 2026 Vibe magazines. Probably going to tell you who to follow on social media, who who's what and what's what and what's going on, stuff like that. It's not going to be like what it was back in the day. I really cannot wait to see the new Vibe magazine. I'm just curious. I'm just nosy to see if it's really like what I saw growing up. I remember when D'Angelo was on the cover. I remember I think it was the Death Row, the famous Death Row blackout cover with Suge, Snoop, Dre, and Pac. Yeah, I remember that magazine cover. I remember, I think Mariah Carey did Vibe a couple times. I remember Beyonce. I remember a lot of that. And then also, I have one more question if anybody can answer this. So, will they have anything to do with the Quincy Jones estate with the Vibe magazine? Because if you guys don't know, like Quincy Jones found the Vibe magazine. Is it going to acknowledge the Quincy Jones estate or Quincy Jones in any way? That's what I want to know. Probably would. We'll see. Um, has anybody watched Nemesis on Netflix? I think that's like one of my new favorite shows. I did say I wanted to do a TV review on it, but I was like, nah. So when I started it, I just knew it wasn't something to do like a review on it, but it's still a good show. I hope they do get renewed for the second season. So if you guys don't know what the show is about, it's basically about a cop trying to figure out, trying to catch the murder of his partner who was shot and killed. And I don't want to spoil it for y'all, but I'm gonna say is the end just made me mad, but at the same time I understand. Good show. The end just made me mad, but I understand. People on the internet was like, this show is corny. This show, the acting is bad. I get it, but like at the same time, y'all are so used to these drama-filled reality TV shows like Baddies and stuff. I think y'all probably ain't accustomed to like actual acting on TV, or maybe you watch too much like Power or something. Y'all trying to make that like Power. I mean, it is Power. It was Courtney Kemp who used to work on the Power set. So I guess, you know. But y'all should check it out if y'all like Power. You will like Nemesis. Um, and yeah, because I'm really not trying to spoil it for y'all, but it's a good show. It's a good show. Kevin Hart is in the news for defending Tony Hinchcliffe. I don't like it. Kevin said, "Y'all act like I said the joke. Y'all act like I said the joke." Like, I get it, Kevin. You didn't say the joke, but at the same time, you could have spoke up and said at the roast, because I know you probably said it behind the scenes to people, but at the roast, you should have spoke up and say, "Hey, man," kind of check him. And I just wish I guess people should now know in this climate, it's okay to kind of check people. And that's what Kevin Hart should have did. I don't even know who the heck Tony Hinchcliffe is. I never seen any of his stand-up specials, so he must not really be as big as Kevin Hart. But Kevin should have checked him right then and there. And if he did, we probably wouldn't even have this much attention on the situation. Like maybe, Kevin would have been in a different light, like as he should have checked this man, as he should. But no, they're attacking Kevin because it was his roast, basically. Again, y'all, I have no interest in watching the Kevin Hart roast. I don't. It looked like it was a lot going on. I know him and like Cat Williams settled their beef. I didn't even know they had a beef, to be honest. All I know is they're two short dudes who was in some funny movies, and both was on Wild 'N Out. So I didn't know that. Yeah, Kevin Hart, this like kind of playing gaslighty in a way. Mm-mm. I don't like. I don't like it. I don't like it. You just should have checked him. Um, in Steelers news, y'all know it's probably like 3 months. No, yeah, 3 4 months away from the preseason. I'm very nervous because, Mike Tomlin ain't around to coach us no more, and I don't know where this is going. But, y'all, Aaron Rodgers is back with the Steelers. I don't know whether to rejoice or cry. Now, I'm not a Aaron Rodgers fan, y'all. I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan. I don't care for no Aaron Rodgers. But what he did for the Steelers last season, I am grateful for. He got us to the playoffs. We got there and then we lost in the first round. But the most important thing is we got there, right? All right. So then Coach Tomlin leaves, right? And then for like maybe a couple months or so, Aaron's like, I don't know if I'm coming back. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Nope. So it was decided for him to come back for his last season. He said, "This is my last season. This is it. And then afterwards, I'm going to retire." Aaron Rodgers, I just got one favor. One favor. Might be a hard favor. I don't know. Might be hard. Who knows? Can you please get us past the first round? I'm sure that's not hard for you. Just get us past the first round. Now, you had some games in you now. Let's not forget about the game before Christmas. The game that you played where the referee was like, "This game is over." While the touchdown was a touchdown, it did not count. The game is over. And then, everybody, I think that was like in I want to say like Baltimore or something. It was in Baltimore, and everybody was so mad. It was everybody was so mad, and it was hilarious, and the Steelers ended up winning, and I was happy that night. It was a Sunday game too, I remember. But yeah, that game was funny, and he was involved in it because he was walking around in the field holding his arms out like touchdown, we won, whatever. So that's my favor, Aaron. If you can't do it, then go ahead, enjoy your retirement. I mean, you're too old anyway, but just enjoy your retirement. That's all I want. Now, I would be wrong if I asked you to, take us all the way to the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl this year is in LA. It just sounds such like a good time. Super Bowl weekend in LA? Hello. And it'd be cold in Pittsburgh around that time too. So to be in LA like in nicer weather, hello. Do you see where I'm going with this, Aaron? And also that Mike McCarthy, I got a favor for you too, sir. Now you know we don't know each other that very well because we had Mike Tomlin all these years, right? I've been a Steeler fan for 15 years. And, I think Tomlin was probably, by the time I became a Steelers fan, he was in his fourth season with the Steelers. So I'm used to Mike Tomlin. That's all who I know all these years. But I hope you get us to the Super Bowl too. I don't know what you do. I ain't never seen your work before. But I hope it's good. Because if you come on that field, come freaking opening day of the preseason, you're going to start your audition in the preseason. So if you bad during the preseason, we're going to have to let you go. Now that I know that's not my place to say, but you know, I could probably call down to the Steelers front office and say, "You better go get Mike Tomlin back." Now Mike Tomlin want to be on NBC kikiing with the NFL analyst. I don't like it. Like Tank said, I don't like it, but I got to trust you. I hope everything just goes well this season. We'll see. We'll see. Moving on from that. Selling Sunset. So Selling Sunset on Netflix. They had a cast change. They had a cast change. A part of me thinks this happened because of how things looked on the season finale a few months back. Um, so who's out? Mary, Emma, Chelsea, and Sandra. Sandra Vergara, who's Sofia Vergara's sister. Now, Sandra did not really play a big role in this season to me. I mean, of course, she had the drama with Chriselle, where Chriselle said, oh, I knew somebody who knew you and you did X, Y, and Z. No big deal, right? And plus, Chriselle really wasn't, well, I mean, I can't say she really wasn't on the show, but she really wasn't a big focal point on the show, in my opinion. So Sandra could have gone on somewhere, right? Um, Chelsea, I hated that Chelsea is out the show. I like Chelsea, and also, it's just a fact that Chelsea is well, not the only, because Amanda is black. So one of the two black women on the show. I hate that she left. I hate how she was treated by Mary, because she had flowers sent to Mary's house, and then Mary flipped out because she felt like Chelsea was being fake by sending the flowers because the cameras are there. How was she supposed to know that the cameras were at the lady's house? She don't have telekinesis, Mary. She don't have telekinesis. Come on now. So I just hate that for Chelsea. I hope Chelsea does better. She should probably get her own show because we like Chelsea. Like, Chelsea was this fly black British woman who dressed to the nines in designer clothes. Like, Chelsea didn't deserve that. We love Chelsea. And also, Chelsea's been through a lot. She got a divorce and now she's a single mom. Hello. I just hate that. But it also makes sense because her friend Chriselle is not on the show anymore. So I guess they live like less toxic lives without it. Emma. Why did Emma lose her job? I mean, Emma's got that stupid boyfriend. I think that's why she lost her job. Her boyfriend's stupid, and Chriselle is married to a non-binary person, so they go through, or they use the pronouns them, they, and you know, I guess Netflix is an ally of LGBTQ because they do have LGBTQIA programming. So if someone who does that is on their platform, I guess they were kind of nervous about that. So I think that's why. I don't know for sure the real reason, but I think that that's the reason why Emma's not on the show. And then also last season, outside of that drama with Chriselle, I don't think she really brought anything to the show. So yeah, let's see why she got kicked off. And then there's Mary. Mary probably made Netflix look bad with the accusations that Chelsea had. She did say like they were being racist, Mary and I think Jason or Brett or one of the twins. So I guess that they didn't go for that, so they probably didn't extend their contract either. And then also Mary is married to Romaine, and they're probably focused on their family and stuff. So those are the cast members that are out. Who is staying? Bree. Of course, Bree is staying because she's most of the drama. You can't like get rid of your star drama player, right? Amanda is staying. Amanda's staying because, she has a story, and two, she's been through a lot as well, hospitalizations and stuff, and also she's the house's, I don't want to say designer, but the person who sets up the houses in real estate and stuff. I don't know if she sells them, but she sets them up to be sold. Christine, they're bringing back Christine. They're bringing back the evil. I'm not a big Christine fan, but I guess she did kind of bring in the ratings. And lastly, Heather. I don't know what Heather would bring because she's been married to Tarek El Moussa and she's been off the show. So what could she bring to the show except the help of Tarek El Moussa? Is he going to be on the show too? Who knows? But yeah, that's the cast, and they're probably going to add on some more people. I don't know if I'm going to watch this season. I liked Chriselle. I liked Chelsea. Then there was another lady. She was on there. I forgot her name, but she moved to Miami. I think her name was not Kristen. She was Ava. I don't remember, but she had an accent. Her last name is Vander. That's what I remember. That lady. They should bring her back too, because she did a really good job of selling houses. But I don't know, y'all, because they got rid of some of the hitters. Mary Emma or Mary Chelsea. Chriselle is gone, and Chriselle, I think, is the most famous person out of the whole show. And behind her would be Heather, because she married Tarek El Moussa. I'll say those are the top two famous people off that show, in my opinion. Moving on from that. Oh, speaking of Netflix, y'all know they got that Michael Jackson documentary on there. I'm not watching it. I'm sure heck, I don't think I'm gonna watch any of these new Michael documentaries, because with the movie being out in theaters, almost surpassing $1 billion, why are all these random Michael Jackson documentaries coming out? There's one coming out in the UK on BBC. There's one out on Tubi. I think it's called The People versus Michael Jackson. There's this one on Netflix coming out. There's just so many like documentaries, and you want to put these movies out or documentaries out when the movie is still in the theater. Sounds pretty suspicious to me. Why would y'all do that? Y'all trying to tear the man's name down. And y'all idiots do know that he was found not guilty. What was that, 19 years ago? Y'all put him through this rigorous trial only for him to be found not guilty. Y'all out here looking dumb. Y'all out here looking real dumb, okay? See, y'all just trying to tear a black man down. A wealthy black man at that. So, yeah, they should pull the plug on all these documentaries. And the only documentaries on Michael Jackson that should come out is the ones that are being approved by the... Now, hold on. Let me pause that statement, because rest in peace. Rest in peace to... Let's see, what's his name? Because I don't want to say the other guy. Rest in peace. His name was on the tip of my tongue this morning. And then, it's like John McClane. John McClane passed away. Now, from what I understand and what I see in the media, John McClane was the good guy. He's known the Jacksons for years and all that stuff. And it was Branca that is the bad dude who is the Hellraiser, in my opinion. Now, I was going to say, my statement was going to be, they should, put out the documentaries approved by the Jackson estate. Now, with McClane gone, I think Branca runs the whole show, right? And y'all do know that Paris Jackson is in court versus this guy, Blanca, whatever his name is. He's in court versus this guy. So I want to say, let me change my statement now. Any documentary regarding Michael Jackson should be approved by the Jackson family. Jermaine, no, let's not say Jermaine. Let's say Prince, Paris. I don't know how involved the youngest one is. One of the 3T brothers, maybe his mother, and probably Latoya. I don't want to say Latoya. I don't know. But that main group, the mother, the siblings, the children. If the mother, the siblings, the children do not put out a statement, I'm not watching it. I don't see it. It's not there. That's just my opinion. Because with the Michael movie, y'all want to know why the Michael movie is so good and it's so, I don't want to say wholesome, but it's so maybe more accurate. It's because Prince Jackson was involved with making the movie. He was there. He's practically an extra in the movie. He's involved. And the movie is about his father. Let's use our brains, people. So, And people was out here canceling their Netflix account. Um, you do know that that kind of harms other people's projects, right? I mean, if you want to cancel it, go ahead. But I don't even have my own Netflix account. But if I did have my own Netflix account, I wouldn't cancel it. I'd probably sign some petitions or something. And hell, y'all don't even have to click play on it. Y'all could watch something else. You could watch something else. You could watch, there's this new show called The Crash. I don't know too much about it. I see everybody else is talking about it. So y'all could watch that. Um, y'all could watch Selling Sunset. Y'all could watch Buying Beverly Hills, which for the life of me, I still don't understand why Netflix canceled that show. That was a good show. And then when they started covering the separation between Mauricio and Kyle, that was some juicy stuff and they canceled it. I hate that for them. Anyway, y'all can watch that, but y'all ain't gotta like cancel your whole thing. Like, just don't play, don't give it no views. I mean, if Netflix has this option, thumb it down, report it or something. So that's all y'all got. Y'all ain't gotta do all the canceling and stuff to harm other people's projects. But I ain't watching that documentary. They should just pull the plug on it now before, Netflix gets worse. And it also isn't one of the head honchos over there married to the daughter of the godfather of black music. And Clarence Avant probably knew the Jackson family very well. I don't know, y'all. It just don't seem right. Netflix, one of the biggest platforms of black voices, because if you like look on like I don't know, black voices. There's a lot of black movies on there and stuff. So that also didn't make sense to me. So, but moving on from that, um, where is that? Where is that? Where is that? Stellantis and Land Rover is collaborating. Y'all, I'm scared. I am a scared little girl. All right, so y'all know I used to work for Land Rover, and I used to come on here complaining about how if you had a Land Rover, they're the biggest pieces of crap and you need coolant and all that stuff. Let me tell y'all, Stellantis ain't no better. Stellantis is no better. After I had lost my job with Land Rover a couple years ago, I went in for an interview with Jeep, which is owned by Stellantis, right? And this is how I knew I was not going to be a Stellantis fan. So I worked in business development. I don't know if I ever explained what that means. So say you're on Jeep.com and you're looking at a Wrangler and you fill out the information, you want more information on the Wrangler. So you fill this card or this little information contact us sheet. It comes to us through a CRM, which is a like computer program where we receive your information. So we call you to come in and take a look at our vehicle. If you do come in after the appointment is made by the business development agent, the BDC coordinator, whatever, they get paid. They get paid a commission of a show, and if you buy, they get paid of that. So I made okay money because I don't know what was wrong with me. I decided to work in the worst part of history and consumerism. Um, I got affected by the UAW strike. I got affected by the chip shortage. That's why I was promised a lot of money. I didn't make a lot of money. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So Stellantis, back to my story. I had an interview with Jeep. You know, that's what I'm accustomed to. I'm accustomed to getting paid shows and buys and all that stuff. So I asked the lady, she's about my age, she's very nice. And I said, okay, you get paid this much hourly, but how much do you get paid for commission? And she looked at me and she said, there's no commission. Huh? No commission. Now, mind y'all, this is for a service. So with service, what happens is if you need service, you fill out or contact us. We call you and we put you down for an appointment. Or you call in and you say something's wrong with my car or my car needs service. We put you down for an appointment. Service is easier than sales, trust me, because I don't know. because I did service BDC once and it was with Land Rover and there was no strikes against them. So if I did it with Cadillac or Chevy or Lincoln or whoever, I'd probably be in trouble because those are American cars. But anyway, yeah, she said that there was no commission because of what's going on with Stellantis at the time. And I don't know now if y'all still having problems, Stellantis, but it was because y'all was having some money issues and it couldn't be afforded for me to get, commission. I was never offered the job, which was fine. I actually left. I decided to leave the car business permanently after that interview. It was a quick, awkward, disappointing interview. So that's yeah. So still, that it's just, and Jeeps are not like the most reliable these days unless you really, really, really pay top money to take care of it. Um, I don't know how this is gonna work. I really don't know because it's probably gonna be expensive. Y'all gotta understand, a brand new Land Rover costs 90 to $150,000. From I think that's what I remember from when I was working there, and that was like only 2 years ago. Stellantis is also very expensive. If you want like a decked out Wrangler or like the Raptor, I guess that's what they're called, the Jeep pickup trucks that look like extra long Wranglers, those are about probably 50 to 70 to $100,000 as well. I have a feeling that nobody's going to be buying these collaboration of Stellantis and Land Rover. First of all, what would the name be? It would probably be something that sounds like a bunch of devastating facts, if that makes sense. Um, it's probably going to be a come and go, a very expensive come and go. Not a lot of people are going to buy this because Land Rover's crap, Stellantis crap, Stellantis crap company. So we'll see. I mean, if it bombs, I'm turning my head, and I'm not gonna say I told you so, but I told you so. Let's see what else is going on here. So there was a fight at my high school at the graduation. I don't know why I put this down on the list, but it just maybe it teaches me that things are so different now. I remember when I graduated high school, oh so many years ago, 2013. Y'all do the math on your own time. I remember when I was getting ready to graduate, they gave us a packet. They gave us a packet of rules. And in those packets of rules, of course, we had to follow the rules because we're the graduates. But they had rules for our parents, our family members. Now, my family don't act like that. But to be funny, I did kind of tell them the rules, don't show up drunk, hold your applause, all that stuff. I'm just looking at back now. Maybe my high school just went fully digital and didn't give these kids the packet because a whole fight broke out. It was behind the bleachers though, so it was probably somebody's family, so it wasn't the graduates. But people were saying like, graduates were walking off, getting their diplomas and leaving. I don't blame them because, in this day and age, people be fighting. You don't know what things can turn into. That's just my opinion. But I was just shocked because it was on the local news and stuff. And ever since I graduated from there, my high school's been on the news. I remember I graduated June of 2013. Probably September, no, August, September. This one security guard named Richard. Richard kind of reminded me of Hulk Hogan because he had like the Hulk Hogan mustache and stuff. But Hulk Hogan is tall. I think Richard was a little shorter than me. Um, Richard got involved in a fight in the hallway, and he hit his head and he passed away. That was reported on the news, and then I don't know if I ever talked about this on this platform, but my Spanish teacher was arrested on what's it called, sexual assault or something on a student, And for a fact, like a lot of me and a lot of my classmates knew that that was like not true at all, because I've known that teacher since I was 15 years old. He's married, he has two boys. I actually met his wife on a field trip he arranged for us. She is so nice, and they talk about their kids so much. Like, he's a really good man. And it later did come out that it was all false, and the student, came up with it and all that stuff, and it was just so sad, because if it wasn't for that teacher, like, true story, y'all, that man sat me and my mama down because I didn't want to go to college. It was bad enough I struggled in high school with getting bullied and stuff, but he sat me and my mama down and he talked about like the upside of me going to community college. It's not bad. It's not, you won't be in debt and all that stuff. And oh my God, I went to community college. I'm not in debt. And I learned a lot of stuff about broadcasting and stuff that I'm able to bring the tools over to my platform and stuff. So if it wasn't for him, I really would not have went to college. And what happened to him, that wasn't, he didn't deserve that at all. And he doesn't work for that school any my high school, my old high school anymore. He ended up going to another high school, and wherever he is in life right now, I really hope he's doing well, because he did not deserve that. Um, and so it was that. Rest in peace, Roscoe. Roscoe wasn't announced on the news or anything, but Roscoe was like this old security guard that was cool. And y'all, if it was not for Roscoe, man, I would not have graduated high school. So when I was a senior, I took the bus every morning. And I took the bus, but the route, because it's so stupid, I live 5 minutes from a high school, right? 5 minutes, probably down one major street, turn one corner, boom, I could be like right in line at the drop off. But because of zoning, stupid zoning law, I had to be bused 15 minutes away from home. So I couldn't do a lot of like after school activities and stuff because I would always have to call home and get a ride. And I hated taking the after school buses because that whole system was just confusing. So I lived 15 minutes. I would have to, on a daily basis, 30-minute commute. And there was a whole high school 5 minutes away. Stupid rule. So my bus route always had to go over the train tracks. And I live in Chicago and I live in the suburbs, and there's a lot of railroads where a lot of these trains have to come through to get to wherever they need to go in the city to drop off whatever they have. And sometimes we would get stopped by that freight train. Sometimes the train would go through. Sometimes the train got stuck. Sometimes I'd be 5 minutes late to my first period class. Sometimes I would not go to my first period class because of the train. And Roscoe, he would just write me a pass, and that them passes saved me, and I was able to graduate on time. Shoot, for something that wasn't even my dealing. So rest in peace to Roscoe. And then I think they had like a 3 or 4 years ago they had like a bed bug outbreak, and then now the fighting at uh, the graduation is just, it's just crazy. I got a crazy school, and a lot of famous people went there. If you want to know what high school I went to, it's the same high school as Jason Weaver. So if you don't know who that is, look it up. But you also know at that high school graduation fighting and stuff, those are the dumb people ruining them kids' big day. Graduation day is supposed to be fun. You're supposed to, like, say goodbye to your friends, hug your teachers and all that stuff, and not break out into a fight and ruin it for everybody. Let's see what else. Y'all see this new trend about the spicy bowl and the Kool-Aid pineapple trend? Now, the Kool-Aid pineapple trend, it makes my stomach churn because it's a lot of sugar. So people are going to Sam's Club, they're buying the big jar of pineapple spears, and what they do is they pour the juice out, they pour it into a separate glass or a cup, they mix the Kool-Aid in there, and they pour it back into the pineapple jar and they let it sit overnight. That's too much sugar. I'm a diabetic. I have diabetes mellitus, and what that means is I have diabetes, but my limbs and all that stuff is still not affected. So, and if I were to eat something like that, I'd probably like all my arteries would probably shrivel up and I'd probably have a heart attack and go blind. Like it would be really, really bad for me. If I wouldn't eat it, y'all shouldn't eat it because it just looks so sugary and it looks like it'll probably rot your teeth out or something. In those, like, okay, here we go. I'm actually sitting in front of, I'm sitting in front of the jar that I converted mine into like a pencil holder, but it's still the same jar. What's in here? All right. So the ingredients for the pineapple spears from Sam's Club, it's in light syrup. You're really not even supposed to eat anything in any type of syrup. In coconut water, in light syrup, naturally flavored coconut water. So it's 90 calories. It has 22 grams of sugar, and it includes 13 grams of added sugars. It has pineapple water, sugar, citric acid, absorbic acid, coconut water. So sugar, obviously. Citric acid, that's the stuff that probably give you like heartburn and stuff. Still, I wouldn't eat it. And Kool-Aid, I mean, isn't Kool-Aid like unsweetened and you have to add your own sugar? Then again, but no, you have to add sugar to the Kool-Aid with the, oh, no. I wouldn't eat it if I was y'all. That's too much. And then they have the spicy bowl challenge too. Now see, um, I wouldn't mind that. I think a place like New Orleans would like that because then they like spicy foods and stuff. But the way it looks when y'all just slamming whole Costco rotisserie chickens on top, and then y'all are eating it out boots like somebody's Timberland. Oh, and here's the icing on the cake. So somebody had a spicy bowl or whatever, and they were eating it out the cup holder at the Planet Fitness. No, raw dogging, no plate, no wrapper, nothing. Just they just got a bowl of this spicy stuff and just started scooping it in there. Now, I work out at a Planet Fitness. I like Planet Fitness. It's a basic gym. You know, you could work out on your own terms and all that stuff. You don't need a personal trainer. If you know how to go from machine to machine, you're in there. You're doing great so far. Here's the thing. So yes, sorry, knocked the mic out. So at the gym, there's always like the gym coordinator. They're always there cleaning stuff up. But also you as the person working out, the customer, have to do your part too. You have to clean up the machine after yourself. Now, I always make sure I clean anything I use at the Planet Fitness. But there are some people out there that don't clean what they use. There are people using the pull down thing and they just grab their stuff and walk away. You don't ever see them again. So if they don't do that with the pull downs, the rowing, the weights, what makes you think they would do that with the treadmills? People are nasty. People don't care. People don't clean up after themselves. So basically, y'all eating off of people booty sweat. Whoever decided with that, I hope you take a lot of vitamins and a lot of bacteria killing fruits and vegetables because that was just straight up nasty. That's straight up nasty. And lastly, I don't want to talk about Ray J getting knocked down. I don't want to kick the man when he's down. Let's just say he's catching hell from all over. But a last story I want to talk about because I've actually been yapping for an hour. Rich Homie Quan got a new video out. It's AI. It's basically AI, because obviously he's been gone. He's been gone almost 2 years. It's been almost 2 years already. Oh my God. So he's been gone almost 2 years. So obviously there's no like way to get like a any type of recent footage or anything outside of when they did Song Cry, they used footage from his funeral. But I could tell that this video was obviously AI. And a part of me think, it was good to use AI, but it was bad to use AI. It was good to use AI because, obviously he's not here, and it made the video seem so realistic, like as if he shot the video a couple months ago and they went through that process of getting edited. And it was real, he had, hugging his kids, he was walking down the street, driving a car outside of a house. Very normal for a rap video, right? But I think it's bad because it would kind of give like the fans and his family like the creeps in a way. But I understand, his father runs his estate, so of course, obviously, he approved it. So I'm sure it wouldn't give his father. If I was his family member, it'd probably like kind of scare me because this is my relative who's no longer living. But at the same time, it makes sense to use AI in this situation. So I haven't really watched the video in full. I really have to sit and check it out. But from what I've seen on his Instagram page, it looks like a nice video. Nothing crazy because sometimes people do use AI for crazy things. But again, y'all, his father runs his estate, and I know like Corey Lamar, he would not go for that at all. So, yeah, that's the end of the podcast for today. I hope y'all like the quality of it. I'm gonna go back and listen to it and see if I like it too. But yeah. So I'll talk to y'all later. More reviews coming out. I'm gonna work on some reviews this weekend. I definitely should because that reviews page is looking mighty lonely. But I'll talk to y'all later. Gotta go. Peace.